This is a book review for Approaching the Quran, the Early Revelations by Michael Sells. Michael Sells is a professor at the University of Chicago, and previously he has translated and written commentaries on Arabic works, poems, and writings, and so on. All the translations in this book are his own of the Quranic chapters. He only covers the Meccan surahs, and the reason is because the Medinan surahs are more around legalistic principles and how to live your life, whereas the early Meccan surahs are more about the power of God, the uniqueness of God, the oneness of God, and so on. So it makes sense for an introduction to the Quran to focus on those surahs. He does a pretty good job on the whole. The format that he has is he does not have any Arabic in the book. He just has the surah on one side, and then on the other side he has a explanation. He gives the context around when the surah was revealed, and he also explains, if there's some arcane words used or some things which he can elaborate. He does so. Uh, it's usually just a single translation, but in a few of the surahs, he actually gives you two or three variations. How how the Arabic could be translated. It could be understood in one way or another, which is interesting. Overall, I found the book helpful, and it was an interesting read, no doubt. The one criticism that I had of it was that his translation is a little bit interesting. I mean, it's not very straightforward. And so I just want to compare one of them just so you get a flavor of the thing that I'm talking about. So for the chapter 107, the small kindness in the Quran, he translates it as follows: In the name of God, the compassionate, the caring. Do you see him who calls the reckoning a lie? He is the one who casts the orphan away, who fails to urge the feeding of one in need. Cursed are those who perform the prayer, unmindful of how they pray, who make of themselves a display but hold back the small kindness. So you can see, especially these last two lines, the way he translates is a little bit, it doesn't quite flow. So he says, for example, who make of themselves a display, but hold back the small kindness. If you compare this with the translation of Muhammad Asad in his excellent The Message of the Quran, it compares as follows. It says, In the name of the God, the most gracious, the dispenser of grace, hast thou ever considered the kind of man who gives the lie to all moral law? Behold, it is this kind of man that thrusts the orphan away, and feels no urge to feed the needy. Woe then unto those praying ones whose hearts from their prayers are remote, those who want only to be seen and praised, and withal deny all assistance to their fellow men. And the Sahih International is actually, in some regards, a little bit easier even than this. So the Sahih International one goes, in the name of God, the most gracious, the merciful, have you seen the one who denies the recompense? For that is the one who drives away the orphan and does not encourage the feeding of the poor. So woe to those who pray, but are heedless of their prayer, those who make show of their deeds and withhold simple assistance. So it's a lot easier to read the Sahih International version than either Muhammad Asad's or Michael Sells. But even Muhammad Asad's is a little bit better in my view than Michael Sells. It just flows a little bit better. The meaning is a little bit clearer. The words are more. The translation is done for meaning, not maybe for correctness. Whereas it feels like Michael Sells, even though the words sound a little bit jumbled up, he's going more for correctness than the meaning or the how it actually flows in English. And this you can see in the other surahs as well, where the translation is just doesn't flow as well as Sahih Internationals or Muhammad Asad's. And that's about it. It's worth a buy, but I would say if you're a Muslim, you can probably skip this and maybe just read the translation directly with the footnotes. Sahih International or Muhammad Asad's, both are pretty good. Thanks.